Hee hoo, let's introduce a little ID with DJ Marmalade. All right. So first thing I want to touch up on Fox5Atlanta.com. The title of it is Woman Thought She Had Water in Her Ear. Doctors Find Brown Recluse Spider.
Oh, my.
What do you think about that, Grandma?
Oh, I think that's scary.
What would you do if there was a brown recluse spider in your ear?
Oh, Lord.
So let's go into some more detail on this. Kansas City, Kansas. A Kansas woman went to see a doctor because she thought she had water in her ear. Imagine her shock when doctors pull out a brown recluse spider.
Is it alive?
I don't know. I'm going to find out. According to MySuncoast.com, Susie Torres said she had a constant swishing sound in her ear that wouldn't go away. Torres went to see a doctor about her condition. As she got her ear examined, a medical assistant ended up finding a brown recluse spider right inside Torres' ear. Just why? Where? What and how? Torres told MySunCoast.com. Never thought they would crawl in your ear or any part of your body. Fortunately, Torres did not get bitten by the eight-legged intruder. Brown recluse spiders are venomous, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. If someone is bitten by a brown recluse, the bites can result in chills, fever, sweating, and nausea. The venom can also destroy skin tissue around the bite. As for Torres, she's taking extra precaution while she sleeps. I went and put some cotton balls in my ears last night because I didn't have any earplugs, Torres said.
Oh,
So what does my grandma think of that?
wow. That's scary.
Are you sure it's scary, Mimi? Are you really
because
sure?
my ear is clogged up right now.
Oh, no.
My left ear is clogged up.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. You don't think, do you?
Oh, God forbid.
How does that feel, Momo?
Well, it closes my ear up. I can't hear out of that ear.
So what if? What if it's a brown recluse spider?
Oh, God forbid.
My grandma's my best friend. Whole wide world. Ho, whoa, whoa. I remember that one time my grandma went to New York City. Never forget it. But anyway, so one of the things that I want to inform everybody on. Okay, so number one, I caved on picking my ear. I gotta stop. I know I keep saying that, and I will, especially after today, because today well, number one, I have not been taking my medicine, which is bad in itself. It was just, I was supposed to see my caseworker on Monday, but she called out. I mean, it's kind of my fault for delaying it, because when I went to go see her, I'm in awe just seeing her because, I just got back from Montana and all this stuff. So all this change is happening, and my brain is just trying to get back on schedule and stuff. and I got 3 pills left. So and I've been saving them. And let's just say I had those visions, but believe it or not, the visions were not as bad as they usually were. I mean, they were pretty bad, but they weren't as bad as what they were. But because usually, I mean, they would vary. They would vary on all types of different scenarios. And like in my brain, like it orchestrates these things. Now, Grandma, I'm going to tell the people what was going on in my head to, put them into what, I experience when I have these moments. And like, if you want to add some of your 2 cents on things or experiences, you can, because, I want to help someone who goes through this stuff. Because believe it or not, I fought it out at work, and eventually it just went away, which was so surprising. Like, it was torturing me for the first part of work for a while. And I remember one of the visions it played was, how I had my suicide planned out and everything back then. Like, it was playing it out, like, outside of my parking lot, and me just giving it up and just leaving my job, like just going outside and just going in my car and going to try go to the area where I go out to the busy road and just wait for a big semi truck and just floor the gas like right into it. Because that was my plan when I was going to kill myself when I was 25. Like, that was my big plan, just to do it, because there's no surviving out of that. And then, when that vision was finished playing, then there was the vision of me going to my parents saying, "It's all your fault. You made me do this." Like, leaving a big old letter before I offed myself. And like, I was just, "It's your fault. Dad didn't teach me things," and all this, just going to town. And all this stuff is just orchestrating in my head while I'm trying to focus on work. So imagine how hard that is. But I toughed it out, Grandma. And like, when I tell you, like, it's orchestrating in my head, I want you to know it's like a movie is playing in my head while I'm trying to focus on work. Just paying it no mind, but it was like me saying, "You made me do this, you made me do this," and leaving like a big suicide note and stuff before I offed myself and like all this stuff. And I don't know, there was just it was just playing it all. And the thing is, when these visions happen, like, it feels real, and it's almost like it's like your mind trying to tell you, this is going to happen, this will happen, and you got to basically tell it, "No, it's not. No, it's not." Like, it's a constant battle. I'm pretty sure there was more visions, but the one before I went out to my car and going to my parents' house and just yelling at them, saying, "It's all your fault. Dad didn't teach me this. Now I'm mentally messed up, and I don't know everything in reality and everything. And it's all your fault." Just saying, "It's all your fault, all your fault." And just yelling at them. And like, it's playing this all in my head. And the thing is it would be on like a loop. It cycled some other visions, but I don't really remember what they were. But just imagine just that stuff just cycling in your head over and over and over and over as you're trying to focus on work. That's what I go through when I had my visions. Now, when I wasn't on medication, it was extremely worse. Like, this is only just a couple days not being on it. Well, actually, it's been like a whole week, and like, I've been taking them irregularly because I'm trying to save my pills up till I go see my caseworker. So then when I get a scheduled appointment, I'll start taking the pills when I get back on schedule, and then they'll prescribed me with the 3 months, and I'll just take from there. But like, even like, but this ain't the first time it was happening either though. Like, even no, the day before yesterday when I went to go see my crush, like remember when I got you off the phone and everything to go take a shower?
Yeah.
My mind was playing this repetitive vision, and it kept playing it in me, and it's just me just putting a gun in my mouth constantly, and just kept putting a gun in my mouth, and it was playing in my head and that was one thing that always happened, like when I get super happy about something and I wasn't on medicine, like my mind would find some way to destroy my happiness. And so it was playing that vision in my head, me just like smiling and putting the gun in my mouth, or me in tears. Like, it plays different scenarios, but it's the same scenario over and over again in my head. And like, I just focused on, the prize, just stay happy, fight it. But today at work, like, it was way worse than yesterday. But the way I was so shocked when it just stopped. Like, I'm like, because it was doing that ever since I got to work, even before I got to work, like even while I was driving to work, it was going on. And but yeah, it was like 30 minutes before my lunch break, it just stopped, and I was like, holy crap, did it just stop? Did I just beat my brain? I was like, holy crap, I really beat it. Like, I fought it out. And it was going on for hours because I got work at 5 and I took my lunch at 8:30. So the whole time me being at work, I was having these orchestrated thoughts playing in my head like a movie on a loop. And that's exactly what I used to go through, but except when I was not on medicine or getting help. It was far more worse, way more worse. But all I kept saying is, come on, James, you got motivation now. You got goals. You got someone that you're going to help. Like, you're going to help her and her kids. You're going to help her. You're going to help her, James. James, that woman thinks so high of you. You got to stay here. Like, don't let these thoughts, like, I just kept motivating myself. And while this stuff is orchestrating in my head, I just stayed motivated. And I was focused on my phone calls 100% while this stuff was going on in my head. And eventually, like 30 minutes before lunch, it just stopped. And I was like so happy. Like, I've never beat it like that. So that was very surprising. I know, Grandma, you don't like me talking about that stuff, but pretty much what I'm saying is, like, if you experience what I experience, always keep your eyes on the prize. Always keep your eyes on that long-term goal that you're working for. Always. And they give up. The thoughts will give up. The visions will give up. What do you want to add, Grandma?
Well, I hope this tells you something. This is nothing to play around with. James, you got to get that appointment with the doctor.
I will.
Does your caseworker have to make the appointment, or can you make the appointment?
I'm going to let her make it.
Why?
Because, Grandma, they're not open on the weekend. I see her Monday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I actually beat it, though. But that's the thing, Grandma. You don't know who goes through this stuff every day. Once I get my prescription, I'll be fine. It's just all this change and stuff, Grandma. My caseworker is going to understand. But it really shows that my medicine helps.
Yeah.
It really shows.
Yeah.
I haven't had those visions in a long time, but they just started popping up like yesterday. They just started popping up. No, I beat it. I got long-term goals that I'm planning on. I got goals. You know, I got my friend to look after, and I got her kid. You know, I got all that stuff going on. So I have motivation to keep going.
You got a purpose.
Yeah, I got a purpose. And that's another thing, though. Even when I go to my friend's place and work, Grandma, like there's this one woman who just loves talking to me. Like, Grandma, she gave me like the biggest kiss on my cheek the other day. And like that made me feel so good because like I really motivate her. I keep her confident. And I told her anytime she's feeling down or something, like come speak to me. And she does. She does.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So like I got all kinds of purpose to keep living. And
you do, James.
Yeah, I do.
You do.
So yeah, like if anyone else experiences that stuff, like just stay motivated and keep your eye on the prize. And if you don't have help, if you do not have any kind of help, go get help. Because I'll tell you this, if those visions that I was saying, that's nothing compared to what I used to deal with on a regular basis.
Well, James, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I have never told anybody this, but I've had visions of drowning a baby.
Yeah.
And
what, recently?
Oh no, not recently. No, the Lord has delivered me from that.
Good.
I went to Jesus and I asked Jesus to help me with that thought because I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
This happened years ago.
Wow.
And Jesus delivered me from it.
There you go.
And that's the truth.
There you go.
And I don't have a problem with it anymore.
It's good.
But
well,
you know, when I was little and I was in the bathtub with my brother, and we were just little. I don't know how old we were. I remember my mother saying, I should have drowned you when you were born. I should have drowned you when you were born. And I wonder if
that's what caused it.
Yeah.
That's what caused it, Grandma.
Yeah. And I'll never forget that. I mean, I've forgiven my mother, and she's gone. She's home with Jesus. But I'll never forget what she had said. And I had those same visions. And but now I don't.
Good.
And I do take my medicine, and probably my medicine helps me with a lot of with I don't hear things and see things anymore, and so. And I do take, my medicine. But you see, James, you're not the only one.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not. But Grandma, I don't want you. I'm super proud of you for coming clean about that and telling people about that, because you never know who could be suffering from that.
Yeah.
You never know.
when I hear of these women killing their children, it saddens me so much in my heart. I just can't imagine, but, they evidently, these women that have killed their children, they needed help.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I got help.
Yep. That's all you got to do.
And I'm on my medicine. And, but I'm telling you, James, you're not the only one.
Oh, I know.
And please don't repeat it to your mom.
Oh, Grandma, that's fine.
Because your mom don't know.
Well,
Nobody
Grandma,
knows.
yeah, that's because you hid all this stuff in the dark. That's why I have so much problems trying to get them to support me. But Grandma, you did good, and who knows? Like, maybe my mom will click on the podcast. Like, you never know. But my mom.
Let me tell those of you out there that are listening. When you come to Jesus, when you come to the Lord God, the Father, in Jesus' name, and you ask Him to free you of these things, accept Him in your heart, and He will free you of these things, because He did to me. But also seek help. Seek professional help.
Yes, always seek help. But yeah, Grandma, that was because for some reason, like, I don't know if you can relate, but like when I wasn't getting help or anything, like the visions would get worse by day. Like, the more, like, I would wake up and already have visions in my head, and I'd have to deal with it, like, all the time. If I'm in a new surrounding, there's visions constantly playing in my head and everything. Like, that's how I was when I wasn't on medicine or anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And one thing that I noticed is they would just get worse and worse and worse and worse each day. That's when I had to start writing, and that's when I had all these dark writings and decrepit writings that, my parents didn't really want anything to do with. And I was writing that way since I was like in middle school, because I had to get this stuff out. And I found out that like writing it all out kind of alleviated it. Like, as long as I wrote it out, I would be fine for the rest of the day. But next day, it was a whole nother story. So I had to write. That's why I had to write each night. Like, there was like some nights where I had to do like 3 or 4 writings. Like, I was always writing. That's why writing is such a talent for me. Because it was either learn how to write or you're going to suffer.
Yeah.
That's why I always wish my parents paid more attention to my writings to understand the severity, because I put everything that I was struggling with, like, with what I was dealing with. But I remember it got like so bad. I remember like one time, and I have the song somewhere. I don't know where it is, because there's been times where I've wanted to find it and I can't find it, because like I have so many songs that I wrote over the years. I don't know where it is, but I remember. Now, this is probably going to be a very disgusting visual, but like these are visions that would pop in my head, and I had to get them out somehow. I'm not going to go into too many details on it, but pretty much I went over like a way how I was going to basically cut off my manhood. Like,
okay.
Yeah, by like using a rubber band and like some other stuff. And like I wrote a full on writing about how to do that. Like that's what I mean. Like my writings were so dark and so decrepit. Like I was so mentally messed up. That's why I think Brian was put in my life for a reason. Because my parents weren't doing anything. My sister wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But I remember when I would show Brian, I would say, "Hey Brian, you want to hear some dark writing?" And he would say, "All right, go ahead, show me." And I'd show him some dark writing. And I remember one time I was up all night trying to find that writing because I'm like, "Ooh, I got one that'll really mess you up." And he was like, "Okay, go for it." And I was trying to find that writing all over the place. Couldn't find it. But that's what I mean. Like I had so many writings, like I was that badly suffering. And when the house burned down, and Maya died, and I was in a car wreck, that was the time where my writings took flight. I mean, these writings were the most beautiful, poetic, dark and decrepit. Like I was at rock bottom. The house burned down. We were living out of a hotel. You know, Maya died. My dog died. Maya, the dog, she died. And like, you know.
Did the writings burn?
Oh yeah, my computer was scorched.
Oh.
But the thing is, I got it all uploaded on the internet. So I always know where to get them. And I got a flash drive filled with ones that isn't on the internet. So, like I got tons of writings, tons and tons of writings. I got tons of writings all the way back from middle school that are on a flash drive, and it shows you where my mind was even when I was in middle school. Well, actually, no, it was high school. Well, it was around MySpace time because MySpace had a thing where you could upload music and stuff, and that's when I started to. But the thing is I deleted some of those because I remember one kid at school was making fun of my stuff, and it irritated me. But yeah, it was just like, you know, I've had some very crazy writings, and it really shows what the visions were putting in my head. I was always writing them out. But one of the ones was the dogs, especially when Lexi was in them. I'll never forget it because I brought it up to Brian. Because I was like, "Brian, I got a question. Like, is it normal for like stuff to pop in your head, like about your dog or something?" Because sometimes I would have like visions of like, you know, like killing Lexi and like stuff like that, or putting her in like an oven or something. And but anytime I had those visions, I would go hug Lexi and I would kiss her and I would tell her, "I'm so sorry. I don't mean what my brain's putting in my head. I'm not going to do any of that." And I would tell her that every time. Any of the dogs, I would do that. But see, that's the thing. Maya, poor Maya, I got tons of regret on that. Tons of regret on her. Because while my parents were ignoring all these red flags and stuff, Maya put up with it. And you gotta think, I was a little kid now. I didn't do no extreme stuff. And to be honest, I censored it too because it wasn't as bad as it was. But it was still bad. That's why I don't. Because one thing as a kid, I know that what I'm going to be doing is not, my parents are not going to like this. So I got to find some way that I can't cover it up. But my brain is telling me all this stuff. And I'm just this little kid, elementary school kid suffering here. And I don't know what to do. Like I'm freaking out. But Maya forgave me, and that was the best feeling ever. when she did that. And you know how I know she forgave me? It was when our house burned down. Actually, it was before the house burned down, but, you know, that's when I came to realization about a lot of stuff. And because, like, I remember, like, when Maya got attacked, and and this is what it is, Grandma, and this is what will show you that, you know, that thought about the drowning baby is from what your mom said, because one thing that my sister would do to me when I was growing up is she would say, Maya hates you, Maya hates you, and she would get Maya to growl at me and bark at me, and like, eventually in my little child mind, I would start thinking, well, wow, this dog really does hate me.
Oh.
And so I always had stuff in my head about Maya because I thought she always hated me.
Yeah.
Come to find out, Maya was abused by my sister by her doing that. Come on, Maya, we hate him. Come on, Maya, we hate him. Like, that poor dog. Like, that's why I will not ever let a kid mess with Lexi. I will not. I won't stand for it. Lexi is my baby. Like, I would not let anyone hurt her.
Right.
'Cause I remember on Joy's birthday when Dad had all his family from his dad's side come over for Joy's birthday. I remember freaking out at that party because I saw those kids and I saw what they were doing to Lexi, and I took her from them like real quick. I didn't care what those parents said. They got a problem. They could say it to my face. I'm getting my Lexi. You're not going to harm Lexi. You're not going to do it. I'm not going to play that. But Dad was just letting them. Dad was like, oh, James, they're just kids and all this stuff. She's fine. No, she wasn't fine.
She probably was scared.
She was. Yeah. So those visions from that, when I was younger and I was having those visions and thoughts about Maya, that's more than likely what embedded those in my head. Because I remember, like Joy got that dog barking and growling at me so much, like it became natural to that dog.
Oh.
So I always just thought she always hated me. But it was around when I realized, you know, man, I'm messed up. Like, I'm messed up. It took a while for it to kick in. But, like, I remember when Maya got attacked by the neighbor's dog. And I remember hearing it. Like, when I was on the computer, I remember hearing the yelping and all that stuff. And, you know, I was hearing Mom and Joy just goes, ah, no. And I'm like, oh boy, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Well, Maya comes in the house running and just, she goes under the couch. And, you know, and I'm just thinking in my head playing my video games, I hope that dog dies. Like, in my head. Like, just me saying that and thinking of that, thinking back on that, it's like, you're talking about a voiceless animal who didn't choose to be in this dysfunctional household.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you, James? What's wrong with you? The thing was, I was dysfunctional. I was messed up.
There you go.
But for me to say that about that poor voiceless dog and not have any kind of remorse for it. Like, Grandma, I didn't care if she died. I didn't care. I didn't. Because even as a high schooler, what Joy embedded in my head as a little kid was still there. And it took so long for me to nip that out. Just nip that out. But it was once I got help and, you know, voicing like all the regret I have towards her, like I really, really wanted to get things straightened with her because that poor dog. But when the house burned down and stuff, I'll never forget, like, she, when the house burned down, and we were, because when it happened, she never gave me kisses, but she let me hug her, and I told her I apologize. I told her to her face, this is a voiceless dog, and she don't know what the heck I'm saying. But I'm like, I'm
maybe
sorry.
Maybe she felt.
Oh
maybe
yes.
she felt your remorse.
Oh yes, she did. Because I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, Maya, I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. I'm so sorry. And like I'm hugging her, kissing her. She didn't give kisses to me at all. Like she let me do it. And I just left it at that. And I was nice to her. I was getting help and stuff.
Yeah.
But when the house burned down, and and I can only imagine what the dogs were going through when the house was on fire and they were in the cages, and you got the neighbor kicked down the door to get them out. I can only imagine what terrifying things were going on for them. And but I remember when we got, when we went to the hotel, I was walking the dogs and everything, and and I would always tell Maya, Maya, you look so beautiful today, and once again, I'm sorry. I kept telling her. Sometimes I would cry when I would tell her. I would cry, and I would mean every word. I still think about Maya to this day. That's the only dog. That's the only dog I would get tattooed on my body. That's the only dog. Because of everything I put that poor dog through, man. Everything.
Well, you know what? Dogs feel your feelings.
Yeah.
They feel that, and I'm sure she felt your remorse.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she felt it.
Oh, yeah. But, when we went from the hotel to a rental for the time being, I remember when I would get home from work, Maya would sit at the door and wait for me till I got home.
Oh, she did.
Every single night.
See?
And she started giving me kisses and everything.
Oh, James. You see, she felt your remorse.
Yep.
She felt it. Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it. A couple of months after that, that's when she died.
Yeah.
She died when we were still at that rental home. There's no telling what that dog was going through. There's no telling. That poor freaking dog. And my parents, they just let me enjoy. They're like, oh, they're just playing with the dog now. Looking back on it, that's not playing with your dog. Telling your dog to get mad at the kid and we hate him, Maya. Come on, we hate him. Like that's mental abuse for that poor voiceless dog.
Yeah.
But that is the only dog that I would get tattooed on me. Because that dog, she went through so much. And it's kind of like, why did my parents, why did they let Joy do that? Like, why? I don't know. But, I don't know.
Maya knew.
Yeah, she did.
Maya knew.
But
she felt remorse.
Yeah, it's just sad that he ended up dying, a couple months after all that. Because Joy kept pestering Mom. Mom, we need to get that growth removed from her leg, Mom. We need to get that growth removed from her leg.
And it was that killed her.
Yep. And you see, that's what I mean. When I tell you, my parents don't control that house, Joy does. And my parents will probably say, no, she don't. No, Joy has control of that house. Y'all ain't got control of that house. Joy has control of that house. Y'all ain't doing nothing. You're just paying the bills. Joy runs that freaking house. Whether my parents want to believe that or not, Joy runs that house. Joy runs that house. Joy gets her way. She don't care what the parents think. She does it. Don't buy that dog, Joy. I told you not to buy a dog. Joy brings the dog home. Joy don't care. My parents think they run it. No, Joy runs the house. Joy runs the house. Whose food's all in that refrigerator? Whose food's all in that freezer? Yeah, that's right. Joy's food. Whose supplements and stuff are on the countertop? Joy. Joy runs the house, whether my parents want to admit that or not. But you know, everything's just going to get better from here, and
yeah, it will.
It will, yeah. I've came this far. I have no shame talking about this stuff. And Grandma, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming forward. Now. I do.
And I have a purpose.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah, Grandma. I'm proud of you for coming forward about that. And, I hope the family clicks on this. I hope they hear what you have to say because they need to understand the severity of your diagnosis. With how they neglect you and tell you that nothing's wrong with you, I can't stand that. That's the same thing my parents tell me.
Yeah.
If there ain't nothing wrong with me, why am I suffering like that when I'm not on medicine? Ugh. But there's no telling how many people go through this stuff. But I'll never forget when I was coming clean and I told my therapist, I'm going to go back and I'm going to apologize to everyone that I may have affected, because that's the thing about these visions that I had. Man, they would play stuff from middle school. They would play something from elementary school. I had grudges going all the way back to elementary school on people. And I'm a grown adult. Oh, that person, I don't talk to them. I remember what they did to me in middle school in 6th grade in the hallway. I'll remember it to the detail. I had so many grudges. And then when I apologized to a lot of those people, they didn't even remember any of it. They didn't remember any of it.
Yeah,
they accepted my apology. But yet, when I came clean to my parents, about Maya and, everything that I went through as a kid, what was going on in my head, and I wasn't honest with the doctors and the therapists because I was terrified of what was going in my head too. But Mama was telling me that I'm fine. Mama was telling me that everything's fine. James, just stop thinking like that. Everything's fine. Her constantly telling me that as a kid, kids are impressionable. Kids look up to their parents. Kids believe what their parents say over some doctor because that's the person teaching them how to live. That's who gave birth to them. So the whole time they're telling me that, I'm believing it.
Yeah.
That's when the doctors gave me all kinds of medicine I didn't need, like Adderall. I'll never forget my experience with Adderall. That was terrible. That was terrifying. I remember being in the hospital so paranoid out of my mind that I was going to die. But, yeah, it's like I'm 28 now, and I'm finally getting everything together. But it's better late than never,
Yep, that's right.
But that's why I have no shame about talking what I'm talking about. I have no shame because you never know what someone's experienced or who went through that, and they're so ashamed to bring up that stuff. Don't be ashamed of it. Get help. Be a grown adult. Be mature. Be responsible. And that's one thing I was telling my tattoo artist about. That's why he likes our podcast. Because we talk about stuff that people are scared to talk about. They'd rather hide it and bottle it up and just go crazy and just hide stuff. No, you don't need to be doing that. Because, I mean, just look where my grandma is with that. My grandma was hiding stuff. But look how her kids are with her. They don't pay attention that they should be paying attention to her. But you know what, Grandma? I promise you, I'm going to do everything in my power to get our family to come around and look at the severity of mental illness and stuff. They'll come around one day. Because face it, our whole family is just dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Everyone's at each other's throats. And you know what's sad? A lot of people have the same type of families. And some say, oh, that's just tradition, or hey, that's just how a man's raised. Oh, James, come on, that's what a boy does. Come on. No, that's not what a boy does.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I don't want to talk about a bunch of stuff on, like, stuff that Joy did, because that's not, it's about me, not her. But basically, that's, it is what it is. Everything's getting better now.
That's right.
And it's only going to keep getting better. And I hope me and Grandma helped someone with that, with our story. Just know you're not alone. Go get help. Go get help.
That's right.
Boy, though. Talking about Maya though, like Maya, like there's a song that I remember would come on one of my favorite CDs, and man, when it would come on, like I would cry thinking about Maya, because it's about this guy who wrote a song about his dog.
Oh.
Yeah, you know the song because I've made you listen to it. He says, "Oh, Jesse, you're a good dog. Please don't follow me. Just go on home." And like every time I would hear that song, I remember I would be driving and that song would come on and I would just start crying.
Oh.
Because, Maya's home now. He's safe.
Yeah.
No longer in pain. But just imagine, like, us as humans with mental problems, we have the option to get help. You're talking about voiceless animals who you're purposely, getting them to be angry, getting them to be dysfunctional, and this is all considered cool, when really those dogs are having so many mental issues and they can't even get help.
Yeah.
They can't even get help. They can't even speak what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, that is the ultimate torture. That is the ultimate torment. Everything's going to get better from here, Grandma.
That's right.
For me and you. But yeah, don't know who you're inspiring right now. You don't know who's going to click on this. But to be honest, mental illness is just one thing that I'm like really good at. That's why I want to, just help people who deal with it, because I've been there. I know what it's like. I know what you're going through. And I'll tell you, there's a way. But number one thing that I constantly tell people that I help out, be completely honest.
Right.
Don't sugarcoat. Be completely honest. So that way they can give you an accurate diagnosis instead of just giving you the incorrect diagnosis. Like, you have to be upfront. Your darkest, deepest stuff that you've held from everybody, like what my grandma did, stuff like that. You got to come forward. You got to come forward. You don't, because you got to remember, you're coming to a place to get help. So they expect for you to tell them what you need to get help with. How are they going to help you if you ain't telling them everything?
That's right. Got to tell them everything.
Yep. Got to. But anyway, on a positive note, my grandma finally cooked arroz gandules. Arroz con gandules. And I bet that was the best dish ever. I remember when Grandma used to cook arroz con gandules. Grandma, remember the time you used to cook arroz con gandules? Arroz con gandules.
Not kangan. Arroz con gandules.
As you can see, my grandma is speaking Spanish right now, guys. So sign up today, $100 a session. My grandma will teach you Spanish. Grandma, how do you say hi? Grandma, how do you say hi?
Hola.
There you go. Grandma, how do you say cat?
Gato.
All right, Grandma, what am I?
Perro.
See? Telling you guys, my grandma's one of the best Spanish speakers in town. $100 a session. Let's go. Let's go. So one thing that I'm realizing, is people doing the bundles, people who coupon and stuff. I think that's so cool. Like, I mean, in a way, they're helping people, but they're also making a penny, like a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Grandma, have you ever thought about doing that since you're retired? You could be a full-time couponer.
Yeah, I know. That takes a lot.
Grandma, I would buy groceries from you.
You would.
Yeah. My grandma's my best friend. My grandma likes arroz con gandules. Grandma, say arroz con gandules.
Arroz con gandules.
Now say it like you really do.
Arroz con gandules.
But I tell you, when I finally got that news that my grandma made that, I was like, Grandma, I've waited all year for this. This is amazing. But one thing that I remember Grandma cooking, and I want her to cook it for Marco, because I bet you $1,000,000 Marco's never had it. But Grandma used to make this coconut rice with some raisins in it, and it's a Puerto Rican dish. What's the name of it, Grandma? Arroz de la leche?
Arroz con dulce.
Oh, with the coconut milk? It's not leche?
Yeah. Arroz con dulce.
Go make some arroz con gandules. Arroz con dulce.
Con dulce.
My grandma's the coolest person in the world, and as you can see, she speaks Spanish better than me. So buy a session today. $100 a session. My grandma taught me how to speak Spanish. I'm still learning. See, watch. Grandma, how do you say it again?
Arroz con dulce.
Arroz con dulce. See there? I'm already making progress. Yes! Yes! I'm telling you guys, you see how my grandma just taught me how to say that? She could do it for you too. $100 a session. Call us. 1-800, my grandma's the coolest person in the world that speaks Spanish and only Spanish. Give us a call.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. My grandma's one of the coolest people in the whole wide world. My grandma, one time, she went to America. My grandma cool. My grandma cool. My grandma's $1,000,000. My grandma's $1,000,000. Grandma, you're $1,000,000.
Oh, I am, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, just hearing my grandma's back to cooking Puerto Rican dishes, that's amazing. That's stuff that I was raised on as a kid. Let's see. Miss my grandma like an Americana. I miss my grandma like Americana. I miss my grandma like an Americana. I miss my grandma. Hey, like an Americana, kana. Woo!
Americana.
You see there? Grandma, how do you say it again?
Americana.
Americana. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yes! Yes! You see, guys? I'm telling you, my grandma's one of the best Spanish teachers you'll ever purchase. $100 a session. Come on, guys. Step up. Give us the money. My grandma's one of the best teachers. You'll be speaking Spanish in no time. Grandma, teach me another word.
Escritorio.
Escritorio. Is that good?
Yeah, you know what that is?
School. Custodian.
Oh.
Custodian.
It's desk.
Yes. Desk. You see there?
Desk.
My grandma will teach you the words. She will teach you the meaning of the word. Come on, guys. My grandma knows this stuff. This is like cheesecake. It's like cheesecake. Now come on. $100 a session. Let's go. Arroz con dulce. Arroz con my grandma. My grandma went to America.
Yo soy abuela.
You see there, guys? I told you my grandma's the best right now.
Yo soy abuela.
I
am grandma.
You see? She'll tell you the English translation and everything, guys. My grandma will teach you all this stuff.
Now, because of my height, yo soy abuelita.
Actually, my grandma's actually 6 foot tall.
That's little grandma.
Grandma is the little old lady from Pasadena.
Little old lady from Pasadena. Go, Granny, go, Granny, go,
Grandma,
Granny, go.
Grandma, go. A little old lady from grandma. Go, grandma, go. Grandma, go. Go, grandma, go. Grandma, go. My grandma is American. My grandma is American.
Yep.
My grandma is American. My grandma is an American. And she speaks Spanish really good.
No, I know some words, but I don't know.
Yes, she does. Okay, let me put you to a test. All right, Grandma. Okay, Grandma. Dog.
Perro.
Cat.
Gato.
Chicken.
Pollo.
See there, guys? I'm telling you. 3. Do you need any more examples? Grandma. Okay, how about phone?
Telefono.
See, I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Here, you want us to test again? I'm telling you, this is a good advertisement for my job during her retirement. She's going to teach everyone how to speak Spanish. All right, Grandma. So how do you say? Let's see here. Ooh, how do you say police?
Policía.
See, I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. She's one of the best. You won't learn Spanish faster from any other person but my grandma. I'm telling you. Hoy vey, hoy vey, hoy vey, hoy vey.
When you say I'm sorry, you say lo siento.
See, I'm telling you guys, my grandma's telling me stuff I never even heard. I always thought you have to say, I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry-o.
Lo siento.
El Fano.
Lo siento.
El Fudo. They call me El Jameso.
No, James is Jaime.
See, I'm telling you guys, she's one of the best. She knows this all. This is nothing to her. This is like cheesecake. Like cheesecake.
No. Cheesecake would be, let me see, how do you say cake?
Keiko. Keiko.
Bizcocho de queso.
See, I'm telling you guys, my grandma's one of the best. You're missing out on a deal. $100 a session. My grandma's one of the best, Grandma, and you know I'm proud of you. And, you know, if anyone here is a parent, like, I don't know if I spoke about it. I know I spoke about it on a podcast, but I remember whenever I was saying sorry to people from the past, and I remember when it was my time to break it down to my parents, my mom's just covering her ears saying, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Like, for real, guys, don't be that parent. Do not ignore your kid of what they're telling you. Like, just because you want to be in denial about it, don't be that. Like, they're coming to you with a cry for help. Like, don't do that. Like, I would not want any kid to go through what I went through, having to get help by myself, like, get everything going by myself. Like, I mean, that's one thing. I got my dad telling me, you know, oh, James, getting help don't work. I tried that stuff. It don't work, and, like, all this stuff. And then, you know, and then you got, like, my mom. She just wants me to be on a bunch of medicine and just be pumped up on all these drugs and be pretty much a zombie. Like, I don't, because that's what she knew growing up with Uncle Bob. Like, I don't know. I hope they all come around one day. But will they? I don't know. But like my friend said, she says, well, James, you got a pseudo family over here, and you know that. And like, you're always more than welcome to come in and come see everybody and everything. So
there you go.
Yep. Because, I mean, it's just sad that I can't go to my parents, you know, when I have my episodes and stuff. And that's just sad.
Well, I'm saying that you're not going to have any more episodes.
You're right.
You're not going to have any episodes.
There you go.
I'm going to confess that in the name of Jesus.
Grandma, you're my best friend.
Amen.
You see there, and this is why me and Grandma have such a strong bond. Because Grandma's one of the best people in the world. And I miss her like $1,000,000 every day.
Well, I miss you, James.
Like $1,000,000? Like $1,000,000?
Like $1,000,000.
Whoa. So, Grandma, do you got anything you want to advertise?
In Decatur, there is a Dunkin' Donut coffee restaurant, and they serve between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the evening. They serve all their large drinks for 99 cents, and it comes to $1.21 with tax and everything. And I usually buy a large mocha iced coffee with 2 Splendas and some cream. And I get a decaf. and it comes to $1.21.
Oh, you guys heard it here first. Get that done and go do that right now. I want to advertise. I want to advertise my grandma being one of the coolest people in the world, and I'm so proud of her about coming clean about something like that. You know, Grandma, that only shows strength, and that shows wisdom, and that really shows that you want to help people. So you never know who is struggling with that.
I know, and believe me, it can be a struggle.
Yeah. But I miss my grandma every day because she's one of the coolest people I've ever heard of, and like as you can see, she knows Spanish very good. So please, like if you're interested in getting Spanish lessons from my grandma, just let us know. My grandma will not disappoint you when it comes to speaking Spanish. Grandma, say speaking Spanish in Spanish.
Speaking Spanish. Habla español.
There you go. There you go, guys. So pick up message me. You know, you want some Spanish lessons from my grandma, they're gonna cost $100. So I wanted to put that out there. And yeah, so we're gonna close this podcast off, and
good night, everybody.
Alrighty, and we are off. Yeah.